All right, we're good.
One moment. Welcome, everybody. Everybody on YouTube, everybody on Zoom. Here's our contact information and information about our studies and practices that you can join. And we hope that you take advantage of that. We have new books that are going to be available, and we'll discuss that as we move along. So we hope that you join us soon. Thank you so much for your participation at whatever level, either on Zoom or on YouTube or combination of both. Thank you.
Okay, I'll start. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly I will establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly I'll establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. Dagla Dongwar Jepe Dra, No Par Jepe Gag, Tarpa Tomche Kimpe Bardu, Chupar Jepa Tomche Ki Soji Pe. Manam ka dang nyam pe sem chen tam che dewa deng dong den. Dugnam dong drag nyordu lana me pa yang dar zopa chung chu brimpo che toparja. The action prayer. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I preferred virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. De che du sangma ge ki bardu luna yam sim ge wala ko. Mashe bardu lugna yisam ge wala ko. Tu daring ne sungte nima sangda tamgi bardu luna yisam gewala po. We take refuge in the kind root lama and lineage lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. We take refuge in the kind root lama and lineage lama. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the Yidam. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Junchen Sawa Dong Gipar Chepe Padin Lama Dampa Namla Kyabsu Chio Yidam Kilgore. Let me try that again. Yidam Kil Gorgya Latsog Namla Kyabsu Chio Sanjay Chomdan De Namla Kyabsu Chio Dampe Chunamla Kyabsu Chio Pagbegedun Namla Kyabsu Chio Pawo Kadro Chukong Sungme Tuk Ye She Ki Chenteng Dimpa Namla Kyabsu Chio. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish stages of the path. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Changchu Ningfor Chi Kebar Sanjay Namla Kyabsuchi Chudang Chungchub Senpai Sogla Yang De Shin Kyabsuchi Chito Nanye Ki De Shiki Changchu Tugni Ke Padan Changchu Sempe La Pala Te Dar Rimchen Ne Patar Deshin Jola Pendandun Changchu Sem Ni Ki Gishi Deshindu Nila Pala Rimpa Shindula Parji. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Sanjay Chudang Soki Choknamla Chanchu Bardu Dagi Kyamsuchi Dagi Jin Soki Pe Sonamki Jula Pinchu Sanjay Druparashal. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness in the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all other sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Manam ka dang yampe sem chen tamche dewa dang dewe gu dang diampak jur chik. Du nao dang du nao gi gu dang dralwa gyur chik. Du nao me pe dewa dang mi dralwa jur chik. Ne ring chak dang ni dang dralwe. Tang yam na ne par jur chik. Okay, Lynn, I'm going off of my own book. Do we go straight into Vajrasattva?
Yes, please.
Okay, thanks. It's just easier to read this one. Oh, and how many recitations?
Once in English, 3 times in the Sanskrit.
Okay. Oh, Vajrasattva, it's on my help to protect my vow to purify myself. May you remain firm with me. Grant me the complete satisfaction. Grow with me. Be loving towards me. Grant me all the attainments to master the powers beyond body and nature. Show me all the deeds of body, speech, and mind. Make my mind, heart good, virtuous, and auspicious. Revel in the bliss of the 4 joys. Oh, blessed one, who embodies the essence within me, do not abandon me. Grant me the realizations of the indestructible nature. Make me one with you. Thus I signify my unity with non-duality. And that's Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Pralaya Vajrasattva Tanopa Tishtindriya Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Tutta Me Tisanshriya Kuruhu Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Bhajre Mame Mutsa Bhajra Bhava Maha Samaya Sattva. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishandri Dume Bhawa Sutokayo Me Bhawa Supokayo Me Bhawa Anurakto Me Bhawa Sarva Siddhu Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Tuta Me Tisandriya Kuduhum Ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sarva Tathagata Bhajre Mame Muta Bhajra Bhava Maha Samaya Sattva Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopam Tishandri Dume Bhawa Sutokayo Me Bhawa Supokayo Me Bhawa Anurakto Me Bhawa Sarva Siddhi Me Prayacha Sarva Kama Tusa Me Titantriya Kuduhum Ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sarva Tathagata Bhajre Mame Muta Bhajra Bhama Maha Samaya Sattva
Thank you, Debbie. And then there's one last prayer that we like to recite. You may not have it in the book that you have, but it's the Sagaramati Requested Sutra. So in English, likewise be extinguished. Extinguish all enemies to my purpose. Whatever evil forces are in me, be defeated, so that when I am victorious, all pure radiance melts into me, completely purified. Take all this knowledge, food and drink peacefully, enjoy it, and be satisfied, so that all obstacles may be destroyed. Be liberated from all obstacles, all general obstacles. Maras are defeated by this gesture of the Buddha. By reciting this mantra, may all the Maras be purified. As a result, may all the Maras be defeated. Thank you. So this is going to be our final practice session of the year. So thank you all very much for being here with us as much as you have. It's really made a difference. And I hope that these practice sessions have helped your personal practice at home and have inspired you and given you confidence to be able to do these practices on your own. That is the intention. That is the motivation. That is why we are doing this, is to help everyone to be able to practice on their own. When we do it together like this is great to support each other, to be able to help us to kind of tweak our recitations and our conviction and so on. But the real work comes from when we are doing this by ourselves. So it would be wonderful to be able to, for everyone to develop their daily practice as much as possible. And whatever time you can carve out of your day, whether it's 15 minutes or 20 minutes or longer, is really great. And just by starting and maintaining whatever that level is as you start, you'll find that it's going to grow because you enjoy it so much. You'll find ways to be able to eliminate some other distractions that you think are very important in your life, to be able to do these practices a little bit more, because they will become a more vital part of your day. So that's one of the great benefits of doing these practices. And what it does, it helps us to stabilize our spiritual body. We have our physical body, we have our intellectual body, but we also have our our spiritual body, and that's what is so easily suppressed. But what we need to do is to bring that up, bring up more awareness of our spirituality. So by doing these prayers and practices and meditations and so on, that is what helps us to stabilize that spirituality. In the process of doing that, we find that our physical body becomes healthier, that we concentrate more what we need to do and what we don't need to do with our physical body. And the same with our intellect. We focus a little bit more on what it is that we need to be thinking about and less about the things that we don't need to be thinking about. the distractions and the things that are unwholesome. So by waking up our spiritual body is makes us a complete human being. So this is our goal, to help everybody to be able to do that. So what we have been doing in these past number of weeks has been, we've been reciting the Om Ah Hung purification practice. And so I think today we should continue that, finish that up. And today, as we do that, let's do that with a great deal of dedication, a great deal of devotion, and really concentrate on the meaning of the Om Ah Hung and the purification that we do of the physical body, the purification of the intellectual body, and the purification of the mind body, of the spiritual body. This is what we are doing. So first we are purifying ourselves, our own body, speech, and mind. And then we purify, we are sending that light from ourselves, we're sending it out to all sentient beings, all throughout our community, throughout our neighborhoods, throughout our regions where we live, and then out all around the globe, all around the world, to all other beings that we don't know. And but we're sending out that light, and our light can converge with each other. Those of us that are doing this practice converges with each other and gets stronger and stronger, going out to all beings and so on. So this is our intention for doing this purification practice. So let's begin. At the end of this, we'll take this up, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back after our short break, and we'll continue doing the practice, and then we'll have a discussion afterwards. So, so if everybody has their beads, that would be good. And if everybody is seated in a good posture with your back straight at the very least, if you can sit in the 7-point posture of Varanchana is great. And be comfortable. If you're sitting in a chair, that's just fine. Keeping your back straight is the most important element here. Do whatever you need to do to remain comfortable. If you start having a cramp, or something starts falling asleep, your leg or something like that, move about as you need to relieve whatever pressure is there. And we want to rest the body, just be peaceful and so on. So whatever you need to do, just try and keep your back straight. That's the most important element. So I will recite this so everybody can just relax and follow the instructions and join in with the recitation. And as I said before, as you do the recitation, try and do it with a conviction that you haven't done before, a devotion that you haven't done before, very, very deep. Okay, so we begin. First, visualize a white Om at your forehead, and a red Ah at the throat, and a blue Hung at your heart. And we will recite the mantra, Om Ah Hung. As the first mala round is recited, a white fire emanates from the Om at the forehead and burns away all physical obscurations, all blockages, all the sickness, all negative karma, and bodily obscurations are consumed by the wisdom fire of the white Om at our forehead. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. Stay relaxed, breathe normal. And next, during the recitation of the second mala round, a red fire emanates from the red Ah at the throat and burns away all the obscurations, all the blockages, and negative karma that were made through our speech. A red fire from our throat, burning away all the negative karma, all the obscurations, suffering that has been caused by our speech. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom. Take a deep breath and hold it. Keep your back straight. Exhale and hold it. Stay relaxed. Breathe normal. During the third Mala round, a blue fire emerges from the blue hung at the heart and envelops the entire body. All the negative karma and obscurations of the mind are consumed and burned away. Visualize from your heart as a single blue flame that comes out of our heart and envelops our entire body. Bring your hands together at your heart and have them come out and up into above your head. Bring your hands together and visualize this single blue flame that our body is being purified, burning away all the negative karma, all the obscurations of the mind, purified for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, Om Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Omo Ahom. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. Stay relaxed and breathe normal. And now, during the fourth mallow round, the three colored lights emanate from the three syllables, the white Om, the red Ah, and the blue Hung, and they radiate in all directions, fully purifying the other outer universe and freeing all sentient beings from suffering and its causes. Om Ahom, radiating light in all directions, filling up your room, filling up your home, going out into the neighborhood, filling up, sending light to all beings in your community and to the region of where you live, melting with the Om Ahong light radiation of our lights together wherever we are, all around the world, sending this light to all beings, purifying their body, speech, and mind, to help them to become aware, reaching into their body, speech, and mind, penetrating, lifting. Right now, there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people all around the world who are chanting, who are praying, different prayers, different chants, but all together their motivation is the same. All melting together for the benefit of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, peace and happiness. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om Ahong. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. Stay relaxed and breathe normal. And now the last mellow round recitation. Visualize the white Om at the forehead, dissolving into the red Ah at the throat, and the red Ah dissolving into the blue Hung at the heart, and the blue Hung rising from the bottom, from the Shab Q at the bottom, into the Ha syllable, into the roof of the Ha syllable, into the crescent moon, into the Bindu, the sun disk, dissolving into the flame, the nada, at the very top, which visualize becomes invisible, slowly, slowly dissolving into the emptiness, dissolving into the shunyata. Stabilize your visualization over and over again. As your mind wanders, bring it back to the dissolution. Then we relax and rest the mind without investigation or discrimination, and be aware to catch a glimpse into the nature of the mind and to meditate in that state. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Om Ahong, Om Ahong, Om Ahong, Om Ahong. Stay relaxed. No investigation. No discrimination. Be aware. Mind wanders, bring it back to the dissolution of the 3 syllables. Catch a glimpse of the mind, the nature of the mind. Meditate in that state. Peaceful, serene, quiet. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. Stay relaxed. Catch a glimpse of the mind in shunyata, in emptiness. We'll meditate for 20 minutes. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale. Stay relaxed. We'll take a break and come back at 11:15, 20 minutes or so. Try and maintain your peaceful mind right now. Try not to engage in any discursive thought, conversation, meaningless conversation. Just take a break, peaceful. We'll come back and we'll resume the meditation. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Om Ahum. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Om Ahom. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. Stay relaxed again. Rest the mind without investigation or discrimination. Be aware. Catch a glimpse into the nature of the mind and meditate in that state. Clear emptiness, peaceful, serene. The mind wanders, just bring it back to the dissolution. Om Ahong dissolving into the Hung. The Hung disappearing from the bottom to the Nadas flame at the top. Flickering, flickering, becoming invisible. Just rest. "20 minutes. Take a deep breath and hold it. Fresh, clean, pure air coming in, circulating throughout our body, clearing away confusion of the mind. Exhale, stale, negative, dark air. Stay relaxed and open your eyes. Okay, thank you. Any conversation, any thoughts anybody has? I know Gary wanted to say something about a book he had read.
I read a book some time ago, really, by an author named Brian L. Weiss. He's a psychiatrist and a doctor. The name of the book was Many Lives, Many Masters. And he was an avowed atheist. But one of his patients, who he described as not an unusually bright, just an average intelligence young woman who he called Catherine, not her real name, but she was, in fact, a real patient. He began treating her, and he would hypnotize her. And she began to recall many lives that she had led. It's been some time since I read the book, so I would have to take a look at it again. But he was, through various means, able to confirm empirically a lot of things that she told him about what happened in history. And these lives that she led could be as a man or as a woman. It changed the way he looked at being. And it reminded me, as I began the practice of Buddhism some time ago, of the teaching of the Buddha that throughout the full, broad level of time, we lead many lives as we continue on our journey to nirvana, or whatever our destination in being is. And I think that some of the members of this group might find that book to resonate with them. And I read it, of course, years before I took up the practice of Buddhism. And I thought of it within the perspective of our practice. And thank you for letting me share that, Lance.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks, Gary. That's cool.
Anybody else have any comments? What do you think of the practice today?
I thought it was really nice, and what you were saying in the beginning before we started the first round of the practice of kind of stoking up the devotion, energizing the practice more, I thought is helpful. And one thing I notice for myself is when I do extended periods of meditation, particularly, my mind tends to start off very kind of active, agitated, excitation. And then after, a few minutes, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, it tends to spend most of the time in more of this kind of discursive dullness, leans more in that way. And that for me, and I think through maybe the devotion framing that you were giving it, or in whatever other way, I tend to need to like energize the quality of my mind or the concentration. I need to kind of like stoke the fire of it
Hmm.
in a way that focuses it rather than like, the excitation, but that I tend to shift into that dullness, too much of the dullness pretty quickly. But that devotional part, my point is that's I think a helpful kind of antidote to that for me to be practicing with.
Do you find yourself going back to the mantra or going back to the meaning of the mantra or something like that to help you stoke that, those embers that are settling down and getting dull, to go back and say, well, why am I doing this practice? What is this practice, doing for me? How am I, do you find that? That's what I do.
I think for my practice, in the broadest sense, uh, certainly, and just yeah, with the motivation for the practice and energizing my practice as a whole. Um, Maybe not so much within this practice session, uh, other than when we were doing the mantra and the visualization. Certainly coming back to that while we were doing it, uh, for sure. Or sometimes I'll like I have a little picture of Garchen Rinpoche on my little altar right here, so thinking of him or looking at that picture kind of energizes
Mm-hmm.
or refocuses things a bit for me.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's very good.
I think that, it's deceptively simple, right? But it contains the whole Mahamudra, right? You go through all the stages and the visualization and the mantra, and then you're dedicating that for the world, right? As you're doing the dissolution, all of this is going out and benefiting beings. So, and it's like deceptively simple, but really profound. I really enjoy these.
Do you find the being in a group, whether it's many people or just a small group like this, and despite the fact that we're spread, many miles apart, how do you relate to that?
The difference is huge. I mean, we all have our practice, but that again, that synergy, it's not just us. It's us watching Zoom, and anybody who might be on YouTube, but it's also, the multiverse, the Tathagatas, right? That's, why we come together.
Mm-hmm.
Like it makes it, it definitely makes it deeper.
Mm-hmm.
There's a more profound way that you're relating
Mm-hmm.
to your Sangha.
Yes, thank you. Do you
I have a
find
question.
it in the beginning that it's more, that you're, like we said, energizing, we have to be more motivational, but then after a period of time, it gets much more effortless and time seems to just disappear. In the beginning, consciousness of time, but then in the end, the time just goes by very easily.
It does. And, again, you do, when you first do them, on the first couple of first couple of mile rounds, you are making that transition. So by the time that we get to the meditation itself, it does not seem like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. We've created it. And so it's like we just enter into it. We've opened the doors, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Matthew, I think maybe I cut you off. Were you going to say something?
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay.
No, I'm the one who cut you all off. I was just wondering for other people, when you're doing the like with this practice, doing the visualization, how kind of clear or vivid is the visualization in your mind, like of the flame or of the syllables? Like, do you all? I'm just gonna use see it, but obviously in your mind's eye. But do you all see it like pretty vividly or clearly? Probably been practicing it longer than I have.
Well, speaking for myself, I think in the beginning, I'm trying to visualize it clearly, as we would visualize it with our eyes and so on like that. But that becomes just melts it melts into, more of a symbolic meaning. And I can be aware of my heart mind, becoming prevalent and it, being part of that emptiness, being part of that shunyata that the flickering of the flame goes into. So it becomes much more subtle with less visualization in terms of what you might see with your eyes.
Mm.
But then if I become a little bit dull or whatever, to go back to the visualization, and then that just takes me right back to the subtlety of it.
Mm.
Debbie, how about you? How would you comment about that?
I would say that exactly. One thing that will help though is write them out. You can, if you look online, you'll see the Tibetan alphabet. Um, we've written, I think that makes a huge difference actually. It's like, if you know what they're supposed to look like, it's easier to build them. Just with more, and yeah, it's only 3 letters, and Bahung is this very, very compounded letter. And when you're doing Hong, you're like, okay, here's the Ha, and there's the Ah, and the and then the thing on top. That helps in terms of visualization. But yeah, I'm definitely going in and out at it. Sometimes I can see the dot really clearly in my mind, and sometimes it's just more, like you said, more like light, more like energy.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah, that is a good point. And in the back of our prayer books, we do have, the construction of the syllables. And it even gives you, what the first stroke is, what the second stroke is, third, fourth strokes are. So it's very helpful. And Debbie's absolutely right. And I think that might be something to include in our next round of practices, is doing a little bit of a study on, we can use the whiteboard because I think we can draw and so on. And the construction of Ah, Hung is very profound. And then that would lead to the other seed syllables that we do for the different practices. So that's really a great suggestion. Thank you. Gary, would you like to comment on any of this?
For me, it's a type of very subtle energy that I get from the practice, not not an invasive or disruptive type of energy. A feeling of lightness and calm in the one sense, but an aroused calm, just a sense of centeredness that pushes out the world around me, that I guess the samsara of the world around me. At least that's probably a poor description of it, but it's I think it gets at what I'm experiencing.
How successful have you each become? And when we take a break, we did the meditation, and then we took a break. And then what was the break like for you? Was it a peaceful break, or were you doing things, or how was that? Did you take the meditation with you?
Yeah,
Debbie, what would you say?
I'd say yes, I did. And the first thing I did was feed Sam, the cat. And I was just with him. It's actually kind of funny because at one point I did have to get up and feed him because he will, meow through your meditation, and that's a bit. So we just sit there. Yeah, look out the window, look at the mist. And I I like that our teachers have taught us that meditation is one of these things that you can carry with you all the time. What we experience today, we can do when we're walking or driving, or catch a little 5-minute break at work, something like that. Is good. It's a good practice to maintain that through different different parts of your day. It's somebody had asked the Buddha, what is the best position for meditation? And he said, sitting down, lying down and walking, meaning everything is,
Hmm.
right? So it's a good reminder.
Thank you. Yeah, Gary, Matt, do you have comments about that? How you take the meditation with you? Did you take the meditation with you today?
Well, I did for a few moments, but my wife returned from the store with some animated comments about the person she dealt with, and I had to circle back to the meditation. Came here. So some parts of life are unpredictable, but I do as a matter of practice. Even when I don't have class, there are times during the day, even for 5 minutes. I like to do walking meditations, sensing my footsteps touch the ground. I've read Thich Nhat Hanh talk about the value of walking meditations as something you can do anywhere, and even in a crowd, even with the world swirling around you. Well, I find that a value. It's if you step out of your home, out of privacy of your room into the world, it's you can still do a form of meditation in some instances, and it's just mindfulness. The practice of mindfulness, and that's to me that's meditation.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, similar for me. It definitely permeates my experience afterwards, and which is easy to do in this setting, like a break from the group, more so than in my normal practice in the morning, where it's much easier to lose that quicker because then I'm worried about all these things, or then there's just all of this stimulation, and then I want to listen to a podcast, and I want to do it, and I know this thing with work, and that it's I think I need to just be much more intentional about carrying that through, and also noticing just how much kinder of a person I am. Not that I'm not kind or mean, to be honest, without this, but like with when my mind is it's just more settled and calm. That yeah, how much of my issues come from just my mind being too chaotic and too busy and too complicated and that kind of thing.
Are you seeing it in your relationships with family, friends, co-workers, etc.?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Do
Yeah.
they see it? Do they see it and comment to you about it?
Mm, no, not some. Well, I don't know what they see or not. I don't. It's not something anyone's particularly commented on,
Hmm.
I guess. Um, yeah, I don't know. Not in a way that's like super direct with, but I'm sure people notice a difference from when I'm practicing versus not practicing.
Hmm.
I imagine.
Thank you. Does anybody else have a comment about that? Whether, you know, how you are relating to other people and how those other people are relating to you? Have you seen a change in that? Debbie, you haven't seen a change in that?
No, not really. I mean, do people notice? Some people do. Some people do. But I also, I can't say I want to hide, but nobody around me is a Buddhist. So if I'm too nice to them, it'll throw them off. Just try to be, level-headed, because I'm a problem solver. I'm the emergency response person. So that's probably when they see it more than any other time.
Mhm. Okay. Gary, would you like to comment at all? You know, you just came from a very active family event that happened, you know, last month, a month before that. You know, did you relate differently? Did other people relate differently to you amidst all that?
Well, as it happened, this is a wedding that Lance is talking about. That I think that's right. And it's as it happened, um, my role was to spend a lot of time alone. I wasn't prepared for that. I found myself sitting alone, but when people came up to me and engaged me, I found that I was doing a lot less talking and a lot more listening. I've always felt that it was my job to respond to what people were saying to me, but that's not always necessary. Your response can be quiet listening. And one thing that I believe that Buddhism has taught me is the quiet listening of people are not always that interested or don't have that need to hear what you have to say. They have a need to be heard. And there's value in just hearing. There's value in just hearing. And you'll know when there is something to say. And it's usually to get them to empty themselves more. And when you get them to do that, it has a way of emptying you. And being empty is a goal.
Very good, thank you. Do you each have your stage, the King of Aspiration prayers?
Yes.
You have it nearby?
Yeah, I'd have to pull it out, but yes, I do.
All right, can we? I think, you know, this whole stuff, you know, practice is being very intentional. So let's for this our last, you know, meditation practice together for a few weeks. Let's set our meditation now, close it with this King of Aspiration prayers. So if we can all recite it out loud, however, we have one person who's reading a page, but all of us, excuse me, not just being passive and listening to it, but actively reciting it, if you like, but really thinking about the meaning of each of the things that we're saying, that we're reading and hearing. I think this is great. This is the fundamental purpose of the King of Aspiration prayers. What are we aspiring to? So, Gary, why don't you begin on page 1, read the title and so on, and go through page 1, and then Debbie, if you would read page 2, please, and then Matt, if you would read page 4, I'll read page. Matt read page 3. Excuse me. I'll read page 4, and then we'll continue that cycle. So, Gary, when you're ready, please.
King of Aspiration prayers. Samattabhadra's aspiration of good actions. Zangcho Monlam from the Gandayeva, the chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. Homage to Manjushri the youthful. To all the Buddhas, the lions of the human race, in all directions of the universe through past and present and future. To every single one of you, I bow in homage. Devotion fills my body, speech, and mind. Through the power of this prayer, aspiring to good actions, all the victorious ones appear, vivid here before my mind, and I multiply my body as many times as atoms in the universe, each one bowing in prostration to all the Buddhas. In every atom preside as many Buddhas as there are atoms, and around them all their bodhisattva heirs. And so I imagine them filling completely the entire space of reality, saluting them with an endless ocean of praise, with the sounds of an ocean of different melodies. I sing of the Buddha's noble qualities and praise all those who have gone to perfect bliss. To every Buddha, I make offerings of the loveliest flowers, of beautiful garlands, of music and perfumed ointments, the best of parasols, the brightest of lamps and finest incense. To every Buddha, I make offerings, exquisite garments and the most fragrant scents, powdered incense heaped high as Mount Meru, arranged in perfect symmetry.
Then the vast and unsurpassable offerings, inspired by my devotion to all the Buddhas and moved by the power in my faith and good actions, I prostrate and offer to all you victorious ones. Whatever negative acts I have committed while driven by desire, hatred, and ignorance, with my body, my speech, and also with my mind, before you I confess and purify each and every one. With a heart full of delight, I rejoice at all the merits of Buddha and Bodhisattvas, Pratyeka Buddhas, those in training, and the Arhats beyond training, and every living being throughout the entire universe. You who are like beacons of light shining through the worlds, who pass through the stages of enlightenment to attain Buddhahood, freedom from all, I exhort you, all of you protectors, turn the unsurpassable wheel of Dharma. Joining my palms together, I pray, to you who intend to pass into Nirvana, remain for eons as many as the atoms in the world, and bring well-being and happiness to all beings. What little virtue I have gathered through my homage, through offering, confessing, and rejoicing, through exhortation and prayer, all of it I dedicate to the enlightenment of all beings.
Let offerings be made to Buddhas of the past and all who now dwell throughout the 10 directions of the universe. Let all who are yet to come swiftly fulfill their wishes and attain the stages of enlightenment and Buddhahood. Let as many worlds as there are in all the 10 directions transform into realms that are vast and utterly pure, filled with Buddhas who have sat before the mighty Bodhi tree, around them all their Bodhisattva sons and daughters. Let as many sentient beings as there are in all the 10 directions live always and forever in happiness and health. Let all beings meet the Dharma that benefits them best, and so may all they hope for be fulfilled. As I practice the training for enlightenment, may I recall all my previous births, and in successive lives, through death and rebirth, may I always renounce the worldly life. Training in the footsteps of all the victorious Buddhas, may I bring good actions to perfection, and may my moral conduct be taintless and pure, never lapsing and always free from fault. In the language of the gods, Nagas, and Yaksas, in the language of demons and of humans too, in however many kinds of speech there may be, I shall proclaim the Dharma in the language of all. Taming my mind and striving in the paramitas, I will never forget the bodhicitta. May all my harmful actions and the obscurations they cause be completely purified, every single one.
May I be freed from karma, harmful emotions, and the work of negativity, and act for all beings in the world. Just like the lotus flower to which mud and water cannot cling, or sun and moon that course unhindered through the sky. Throughout the reach and range of the entire universe, I shall pacify completely the suffering of all the lower realms. I shall lead all beings to happiness and work for the ultimate benefit of each and every one. I shall bring enlightened action to perfection, serve beings as to suit their needs, Teach them to accomplish good actions and to continue this throughout all the eons to come. May I always meet and be accompanied by those whose actions accord with mine, and in body, speech, and mind as well. May our actions and aspirations always be one. May I always meet spiritual friends who long to be of true help to me and who teach me the good actions. Never will I disappoint them. May I always behold the Buddhas here before my eyes, and around them all their bodhisattvas, sons and daughters. Without ever tiring throughout all the eons to come, may the offerings I make them be endless and vast. May I maintain the sacred teachings of the Buddhas and cause enlightened action to appear. May I train to perfection in good actions and practice these in every age to come.
As I wander through all the states of samsaric existence, may I gather inexhaustible merit and wisdom, and so become an inexhaustible treasury of noble qualities, of skill and discernment, samadhi and liberation. In a single atom, may I see as many pure realms as atoms in the universe, and in each realm, Buddhas beyond all imagining, encircled by all their bodhisattva heirs. Along with them, may I perform the actions of enlightenment, and so, in each direction, everywhere, even on the tip of a hair, may I see an ocean of Buddhas, all to come in past, present, and future, in an ocean of pure realms, and throughout an ocean of eons. May I enter into enlightened action in each and every one. Each single word of a Buddha's speech, that voice with its ocean of qualities, bears all the purity of the speech of all the Buddhas, sounds that harmonize with the minds of all living beings. May I always be engaged with the speech of the Buddhas. With all the power of my mind, may I hear and realize the inexhaustible melody of the teaching spoken by all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future as they turn the wheels of Dharma. Just as the wisdom of the Buddhas penetrates all future eons, so may I too know them instantly. And in each fraction of an instant, may I know all that will ever be in past, present, and future.
In an instant, may I behold all those who are the lions of the human race, the Buddhas of past, present, and future. May I always be engaged in the Buddha's way of life and action, through the power of liberation, where all is realized as like an illusion. On a single atom, may I actually bring about the entire array of pure realms of past, present, and future, and then enter into those pure Buddha realms in each atom and in each and every direction. When those who illuminate the world still to come gradually attain Buddhahood, turn the wheel of Dharma, and demonstrate the final profound peace of nirvana, may I always be in their presence. Through the power of swift miracles, the power of the vehicle like a doorway, the power of conduct that possesses all virtuous qualities, the power of loving kindness, all pervasive, the power of merit that is totally virtue, the power of wisdom free from attachment, and the power of knowledge, skillful means, and samadhi. May I perfectly accomplish the power of enlightenment. May I purify the power of karma, destroy the power of harmful emotions, render negativity utterly powerless, and perfect the power of good actions.
I shall purify oceans of realms, liberate oceans of sentient beings, understand oceans of Dharma, realize oceans of wisdom, perfect oceans of actions, fulfill oceans of aspirations, serve oceans of Buddhas, and perform these without ever growing weary through oceans of eons. All the Buddhas throughout the whole of time attained enlightenment through good actions, and their prayers and aspirations for enlightened action. May I fulfill them all completely. The eldest of the sons of all the Buddhas is called Samantabhadra, all good. So that I may act with a skill like his, I dedicate fully all these merits. To purify my body, my speech, and my mind as well, to purify my actions in all realms, may I be the equal of Samantabhadra in his skill and good dedication. In order to perform the full virtue of good actions, I shall act according to Manjushri's prayers and aspiration, and without ever growing weary, in all the eons to come, I shall perfectly fulfill every one of his aims.
Let my bodhisattva acts be beyond measure. Let my enlightened qualities be measureless too. Keeping to this immeasurable activity, may I accomplish all the miraculous powers of enlightenment. Sentient beings are as limitless as the boundless expanse of space. So shall my prayers of aspiration for them be as limitless as their karma and harmful emotions. Whoever hears this king of dedication prayers and yearns for supreme enlightenment, who even once arouses faith, will gain true merit greater still than by offering the victorious Buddha's infinite pure realms in every direction, all ornamented with jewels, or offering them all the highest joys of gods and humans, for as many eons as there are atoms in those realms. Whosoever truly makes this aspiration to good actions will never again be reborn in lower realms. They will be free from harmful companions and soon behold the Buddha of boundless light. They will acquire all kinds of benefits and live in happiness. Even in this present life, all will go well, and before long, they will become just like Samantabhadra. All negative acts, even the 5 of immediate retribution, whatever they have committed in the grip of ignorance, will soon be completely purified if they recite this aspiration of good actions.
They will possess perfect wisdom, beauty, and excellent signs, be born in a good family and with a radiant appearance. Demons and heretics will never harm them, and all 3 worlds will honor them with offerings. They will go quickly, go beneath the Bodhi tree, and there they will sit to benefit all sentient beings. Then awaken into enlightenment, turn the wheel of Dharma, and tame Mara with all his hordes. The full result of keeping, teaching, or reading this prayer of aspirations of good actions is known to the Buddhas alone. Have no doubt, supreme enlightenment will be yours. Just as the Bodhisattva Manjushri attained omniscience and Samantabhadra too, all these merits now I dedicate to train and follow in their footsteps. As all the victorious Buddhas of past, present, and future praised dedication as supreme, so now I dedicate all these roots of virtue for all beings to perfect good actions. When it is time for me to die, let all that obscures me fade away, so I look at Amitabha there in person and go at once to his pure land of Sukyavati. In that pure land, may I actualize every single one of all these aspirations, and may I fulfill them, each and every one, and bring help to beings for as long as the universe remains.
Born there in a beautiful lotus flower, in that excellent and joyous Buddha realm, may the Buddha Amitabha himself grant me the prophecy foretelling my enlightenment. Having received the prophecy there, with my billions of emanations, sent out through the power of my mind, may I bring enormous benefit to sentient beings in all the 10 directions. Through whatever small virtues I have gained by reciting this aspiration of good actions, may the virtuous wishes of all beings, prayers, and aspirations all be instantly accomplished. Through the true and boundless merit attained by dedicating this aspiration of good actions, may all those now drowning in the ocean of suffering reach the supreme realm of Amitabha. May this king of aspirations bring about the supreme aim and benefit of all infinite sentient beings. May they perfect what is described in this holy prayer uttered by Samantabhadra. May the lower realms be entirely empty. By the blessings of the Buddhas who have attained the 3 kayas and the unchanging truth of reality, as well as the unwavering aspirations of the Sangha, May all the aspirations and dedication prayers be fulfilled.
Very good. Thank you. Does this have more meaning to you each time you read this? Matt, what would you say?
Yeah, I think so. And over time, I've been able to connect with it more in a more visceral way. At first, for some reason, I was having trouble, um, I don't know, resonating with it, or I don't know what the right way to put it would be, but over time, yeah, it kind of sink in more, or has more of a yeah, a visceral feel, or more of a sense of dedication, or yeah, something like that. Feels more meaningful.
Thank you. Is it kind of like, breaking down a wall or crashing through a ceiling or something, a limit to which we felt ourselves bound, but we break through that limit and say, oh, wow, there's something else beyond what, I thought before.
Yeah, something like that. And for me, the wall to break through is almost always an over intellectualization of the teachings, or getting lost in that, my own concepts and everything I put on top of things.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Gary, did you want to say something?
Well, I was simply going to say that with each reading of it, you see meaning in certain lines and passages that you hadn't focused on before. It's like it sinks deeper and deeper into you. And it's almost as if you hadn't read that before. You had read through it, but you had not absorbed it. And I think that that's what practice is about, or at least part of what practice is about. And so reading this prayer, you once said that you read it every day for a year. Maybe you still do. But I can see how it would, doing something like that would really make it part of you. That would become part of who you are by reading this.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the benefit of the discipline, the commitment, the devotion, etc. Yes, absolutely. And there's no part of this that you wouldn't want to be who you are. There's nothing objectionable about this. There's nothing non-virtuous about this. This is what it is to be a complete human being. Well, Debbie, would you, if you have a comment about this, I'd love to hear it. And would you do the dedication prayers, please, and read them out loud in the English for us so that we can do a dedication for this session.
Okay. After a while, this feels like a conversation. It's a prayer, but it also feels like a conversation more than,
The aspiration of good actions.
yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like, but also, it gives important clues about the nature and structure of reality, right? To get you to see, the physical universe and the Tathagatas. What are their true states? What really is going on? And it also deals with infinity a lot. Past, present, and future is infinite. They're infinite, we're all beings are Dharmakaya through past, present, and future. Dharmakaya is infinite. Beings are infinite. The Buddhas are infinite. You're using what you have around you your observations of the physical universe, your meditation, your your observations of, there are things that are more is going on than just, like physical objects and the mind. We're all embedded in something extremely complex. We're all together. We're all, you know, everything that we see and much of what we think is really, really inaccurate. It brings in emptiness. It brings in, you know, you as a mind moving through lifetimes. There's a lot going on there. And it's also a nice reminder of that, of, what we are learning through meditation and study and how that relates to not just actual reality, but what are we doing, again, dedicating to merit. Like, we're always moving closer to our own enlightenment. We're always moving closer to truly being able to help other beings. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Where are my dedications?
What book do you have?
Oh, I just got one of the it's actually the Bardo commentary. Because it's just easier for me to read on this thing.
Okay. Do you have the Kagyu lineage dedication prayer? Dorje Chang, Talopa, Naropa.
For dedication. Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong book. Let me see if I can find it. 67, 71. Okay. Dorje Chang, Tilopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dharmalot Gompopa, Pagmodrupa, and Lord Jigumpa. Please bestow upon us the most auspicious blessings of all the Kagyu Lamas. By this virtue, may I achieve omniscience by defeating all enemies, confusion. May all who travel on the may all who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have good health. I pray that the Lama may have long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. As Manjushri, the warrior, realized the ultimate state, and as did Samantrabandha, I will follow in their path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I share bear fruit. By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drigungpa, Ratnashri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. And do the Sukhavati prayer to Amitabha.
No, but we don't have that in these books, but that would be a good idea to include that in the book. So I'll tell you what, why don't you recite that, although we don't have it in the books? It would be good to hear it. Thank you.
Emaho, marvelous. In the center is the Buddha Amitabha, boundless light. To his right is Shinreze, the Lord of great compassion, and to his left is the Bodhisattva Vajrapani, the Lord of great power. They are surrounded by an inconceivable assembly of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Extraordinary, limitless space, peace, and happiness is the Buddha field called bliss and endowment. When all beings and I pass from this life, may we be born there, unhindered by another samsaric birth. Once born there, may we behold the face of Amitabha, boundless light. By the power of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, bless us that we may attain this aspiration without hindrance. Teata Pansa Driya Awa.
Bodhanaya Soha. Very good. Thank you very, very much, everybody. Om, Ah, Hong. Om, Ah, Hong. Om, Ah, Hong. May my body, speech, and mind become inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones for the benefit of all sentient beings. Thank you. It was a good session. Thank you for all these Sundays that we've spent together. I think it's been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
so much, Lance.
All right, so tomorrow night we'll be doing Buddhism 101, the study, and we'll have an interesting conversation, I think. And that'll be the final session for this season, and we'll pick back up in January, and we'll let everybody know when that is. So thank you all. Have a good day. Bye-bye.